Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Incredible. All I can say is coming out of Survivor Series 2023 is incredible. What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And I am here live this late Sunday afternoon to review last night's pay-per-view, WWE Survivor Series 2023, what you want to call it, Survivor Series War Games 2023. And this show took place in last night, November 25th, 2023, at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Definitely had the hype with the two War Games matches. We already had one confirmed return. We had another return as well, thanks to Ruffles. Who do you think I was talking about? Oh, there might be a third one too? We'll get to him later. We'll get to him very, very later. First off, I got to say, hopefully, well, this isn't really a big deal I should make, but as you can see, the thumbnail for this stream was a little bit different. As I said in my last stream, which was my Survivor Series preview, that I did take advantage of a Black Friday sale, and I now have the entire Adobe Creative Suite for half price, basically, for the next year. Which I'll probably continue it after this coming year, but if there's no Black Friday sale to pay the $60. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to try to be experimenting with some new things with my graphics. So, probably an updated intro at some point, because I have After Effects now. But, of course, right now, with how busy I am with the holidays, I'm probably the only thing that's going to change for now, that might be a little different for now, is thumbnails. Which the one I made for this review, not bad. I don't know. I still want something a little more like fancier and not so much cut and paste, this and that and whatnot. So some stuff there. But so once again, just some changes that's going to come. Again, the intro's not going to be completely different. Like, I'm not going to reshoot, the video. There's more so like the part where I advertise what I do on the channel is probably because I'm going to do something different graphic wise and make it a little more, just spice it up a little bit. Maybe a different song also. I kind of, the song that I've used for my last intro isn't quite feeling it for me. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I have another one picked out, but that's probably going to be further on down the line where I spice that up. And even the graphics I use for my reviews and whatnot could look a little different as well. Like I said, since I have more tools now, and again, I'm trying to, review, because, I learned these softwares in college, and some of them, like After Effects and Photoshop, I haven't used in a long time. Hopefully, eventually, though, I can get those tools and spice up the channel a little bit more. Especially as we get closer to 2,000 subscribers. Once I hit 2,000... Again, I might slow down just a little bit to give myself a little bit of a breather, but I definitely want to after I get to 2,000, take some more time to refresh my memory on those concepts with Photoshop and After Effects. Because before that, the thumbnails I would use is literally just stuff I would just pile into Premiere Pro, my video editing software I use, and screenshot that. Now with Photoshop, might be able to do a little more. So Just throwing that out there. Let's not waste time. Let's talk about Survivor Series 2023. I would probably say this was at least in the top 3 for pay-per-view of the year for WWE. I say that because I really enjoyed WrestleMania Night 1. Or WrestleMania altogether I really enjoyed. But Night 1 especially. And I also think Elimination Chamber also is one up there as well. This show, I didn't quite give it a classic grade. I was considering it because this show had a couple moments in there. But I feel like the fallout from the War Games matches is basically what I predicted. I predicted the winners and the person who's going to eat the pins. I predicted that, but it didn't have what I thought was going to happen. You know what I mean? Afterwards, not saying they know it's because of my opinions, but it's just okay, it's we got to wait a little bit longer for these certain moments, which that's okay because it was still great. So it didn't quite hit the level of classic for me. But what's always going to stand out about this episode of Survivor Series is that there were big moments. Moments that, people coming back that you never thought would come back. Well, one, you knew it was going to come back at some point. Another almost could have retired. And the other one that was entirely impossible to come back to WWE. Just saying. But it was a fun night. I got to watch it with my wife and 3 of my nephews after we had our Thanksgiving dinner with her side of the family, which was busy. It was a very long and busy day. But damn, do I wish I would have done live reactions during that main event. Oh, do I wish I would have been live reacting, as you should have heard how I marked out afterwards. But I talked long enough. Let's get right into it. And let's start off by, of course, checking the live chat, as it seems pretty active so far. It says there's 5 people in the live chat. Let me see what we've got here. We've got Tyler. We've got Wrestling 365. Maybe that'll be the match. We'll talk about that, of course, later on. We have Lauren in the live chat. And she thought War Games was the best pay-per-view of the year. Okay. Tyler didn't see what's going to happen at the end coming. I'll talk about my thoughts about that at the end as well. And he thought the show was fun. I agree. AEW is no longer the place to be. It's now WWE. Yes, that's true. But let me say this also. AEW is not dead. I know a lot of people probably think AEW is dead now. They're going to go out of business. Look, I'm sorry. Again, I don't get why people wants AEW to die so badly. Again, it's an alternative. It allows us to see other talent that can't get the opportunities everywhere else. But again, there's still talent there. You got Swerve, who I get is easily one of my favorites. Hangman, Kenny, Adam Copeland's there. Britt Baker, Chris Statlander, Bryan Danielson, MJF. You still got a ton of talent there. Yes, AEW suffered a big blow, especially seeing what happened at the end of the show. They're not dead in the water. They could be on their way to being the next TNA, which means secondary that people watch it, but you're right in that statement. AEW is not the place to be anymore. As long as Vince McMahon stays where he's at right now and is positioned on the business side, we're good. But and WWE will be the place to be once again. But I'm sorry, AEW, this whole idea of AEW being doomed or going to die, I don't like that. I don't like that, and I completely disagree with that. They still got talent there. Yes, is the product going to probably peak like WWE's right now? I don't know about that. But it's still, to me, a show worth watching with different talent. But once again, as I keep saying, for the most part, I'm keeping my thoughts to AEW to myself, as I've been saying for months. Occasional topic here and there, but that's that. Randy Orton, I think, was the best part of the night. Lauren, I'm sorry. I feel bad for Randy, but I don't think he was the best part of the night. unfortunately. But he was definitely probably the next best thing on this show. There's a whole lot of dream matches. Yes, again, the best match was Tyler thought was the women's War Games match, which was definitely one of the best ones from the women. I will say that. Randy Orton looked awesome last night. He was jacked bigger than he was before he got hurt. He looked really good, Randy. I thought he looked great. It was last year, a live review Survivor Series, and 1 year later, a live review Survivor Series. Nice. Do you think now that someone's back, do you think we'll get Sasha Banks back? I think, again, not yet, but I think in a few years down the line, Sasha Banks will come back. But, of course, as proven last night, anything's possible now. We see wrestlers come back from serious injuries like Bryan Danielson, Adam Copeland, Edge, and Saraya, who are all now in AEW, which I think is pretty cool, that photo they got together when Adam Copeland went to AEW. But yeah, anything's possible. I think eventually Sasha will come back. I think the show is on the level of Payback. Okay? Hey, Mark, thank you for joining us. Dark Midnight, who is my nephew, one of my nephews watched last night. Randy Orton was already enough. Then they pulled a person's name. Yeah, we'll wait and talk about him at the very end. Randy Orton was still doing RKOs in the main event. Again, I was very interested to see what if Randy was going to do the RKO. Of course, I popped when he did it because I thought it was cool. But again, I just hopefully he doesn't reactivate his back. But again, it's Randy. He don't give a crap. He'll do what he wants to do. I mean, especially I gotta share what I saw online during that closing segment of the show, and I'm just like, yep, that's Randy. Not as funny as his toe touch, but that's Randy. At first, Mark thought Triple H was messing with us when a certain somebody returned. It was way better than last year's Survivor Series. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you the last time, maybe 2014's, because, 2016's I enjoyed also, I remember, but it's been a long time since I enjoyed Survivor Series. I so much so that I hate the fact that it's called a Big Four pay-per-view because I haven't really thought it was that great, especially with it being brand-to-brand warfare. But 2014 was good with Team Cena and Team Authority. And I even did enjoy 2016's a little bit too. But yeah, this one, it's definitely probably the best one I've seen personally. I am so intrigued now. I'm so intrigued now for Raw tomorrow because we're going to have, we're going to hear from two certain people. Yes. Well, we didn't get no face or heel turns, and I agree. And Mark can't wait for Raw tomorrow either. WWE is the place to be. Who wants to be their old man, Ric Flair? I still cannot believe Ric Flair signed to AEW. Again, I'm still worried to death that they're going to make him be Sting's last match. I hope to God that's not what they do. Yep, or yeet. Who do you think is next for Gunther going into the Royal Rumble? Do you think he'll be in the Royal Rumble match, or do you think he'll defend the title against Brock Lesnar? See, I would love to see Gunther defend the Intercontinental title against Brock, and of course win. I just don't think Brock's going to want to fight for the title. I would love to see Gunther versus Brock at Mania, but I still wonder if they're eventually going to get back to Chad Gable. Because even though, of course, they're on the losing streak right now, there is still like that seed there that Gable is going to make his way somehow back to the IC title. But I don't know who he's going to defend it against next. That would be interesting. That is very interesting, of course, to declare as well. Who's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura's mystery opponent now? It still could be who showed up. It still could be, I think. I wonder who's next to leave AEW. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Jericho and Moxley are staying. Samoa Joe, I don't know yet either. But we'll see if anybody else decides to jump ship. I still say Wardlow would be somebody I think his contract expires this coming year, but if AEW don't give him a direction, I can see him jumping at the WWE. The show overall has... Who's SmackDown going to have? I don't know. Let's wait and see. It was good to see R-Truth back as well. Give R-Truth some love. Please give the man some love. I was happy to see him as well. I like to see... my nephew wants to see somebody take on Seth and Randy take on Roman. They could do Randy versus Roman. I think Randy's going to be on Raw though, so I guess not yet. But they were supposed to do that at SummerSlam 2022 until he got hurt. Yes, I think Bayley should win the Women's Rumble match. The Brand Warfare her Survivor Series, yes. I think that the 2003 Survivor Series is still the best Survivor Series. I have not yet seen it though, but I'll take your word for it, Tyler. How's it been a long time? Triple H should have had the book in the show. Would have been better than this to this day, but I'm not sure what he means by that, but cool. Should say whatever, but cool. Good stuff in the live chat going, guys. Keep it going, but I think we do have to get rolling because I am definitely excited to talk about the show. 17,000 people at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Of course, always a hot crowd. One of the best crowds, especially because of who the home is. And I'm not drinking the proper drink. I'm drinking Coke, not Pepsi, because we will at some point talk about a certain man known as Pepsi Phil, whose last move in wrestling is not the Pepsi Plunge. Because he will still be wrestling. He will still be going. So we're going to roll in and let's talk about Survivor Series Survivor Series War Games 2023. Now, I give myself a little bit of credit also because I did predict the matches in order. That did happen on the card. Minus the pending thing. Even though, of course, that didn't happen how it happened, but it still happened. But the show did, in fact, open up, as I predicted, with the women's War Games match. Team Bianca Belair, which is Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi Blackheart, and Becky Lynch. And took on Team Damage Control, which is the leader, Bayley, the women's champion, Io Sky, and then Kairi Sane and Asuka, both formerly known as the Kabuki Warriors. And I believe it was Becky and Bayley who started off the match. With the long-term booking, I think they're going to be going. I did like how they booked Bayley in this match. They had her start it off, and I didn't realize until someone pointed out on Twitter, I believe it was, that Bayley actually did, towards the end of the match, save every single member and took a bullet for like every single member of Damage Control. I do like that, and that is some way to start building up the sympathy for her eventual babyface turn. And of course, the match is still great with Bianca was in there doing well. Charlotte was the last to enter. Shotzi Blackheart, of course, is going extra crazy. This, of course, is a match meant for Shotzi. Like I was saying, I know they haven't really, since she turned face again last year, it still hasn't felt like they got that, cobwebs off the old toy thing, as I keep describing her as. But I'm hoping this is the start of her, getting efficient again. But I'm glad to see she got a chance to shine in this match, bringing in fire extinguishers, trash cans, chairs as well, was using this. And, of course, Becky Lynch, which, of course, one of the stories going into this match. Again, the only problem I have with this match is still the fact that it doesn't, that they did address the fact that they let a Raw superstar fight all SmackDown stars. I kind of wish they would have addressed that. But I'm not going to be too picky because this was still an awesome, awesome War Games match. Kairi Sane came in there with the lid of a trash can. And she twice did her spinning back fist. But instead of hitting like the back fist, she basically replaced her fist with the trash can, which I thought was vicious. And it was cool too, because when Kairi was a heel when her and Asuka were the Kabuki Warriors back in 2018, I think it was, because that's when they feuded with Becky, and they had that TLC match with Becky and Charlotte at TLC, which was not really one of the best TLC matches I've seen, if I'm being 100% honest. I thought that Kyra looked like a chump as a heel. Like, she looked like someone who was not going to be dangerous. That was just not going to be taken as a threat. She was just going to get the shit beat out of her constantly. Here, though, she looked like a dangerous badass, and I thought it was pretty cool. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Because the women, the babyface team was the team that got the advantage based off of a Ruffles vote, which I love Ruffles, but these goofy sponsors sometimes, it doesn't make sense. Why did a sponsor get the vote, but the men had to duke it out to get their advantage? I didn't quite get that one there. But, what's this? Oh, cool. But, where was I going with this? But there was that. What other spots was there in this match I enjoyed? I mentioned Bayley. I know Asuka used the mist in Shotzi's face at one point. Oh, of course, there was a spot I remember also where Bianca did a double suplex on both Io and Bayley at the same time. Was freaking cool. There's two other things, a couple other things since I go into I want to talk about crap. Crap, what was it now? Besides the two other big things, there was something else I was going to mention in there. I mentioned Kyrie. Oh, well, it wasn't a spot, but the story of this match though was also still the whole story between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. No longer friends, but, admitting that, they still would come together when it comes to going to war, basically. And they had a few moments where they were teasing the tension, but then when they were both, on a roll, they finally embraced, and the crowd popped. That's a moment right there. The history between them. You know that they used to be best friends. You know they had a big falling out, especially in 2021, with that horrible title belt swap segment that just exposed the fact that, yes, these two now brutally hate each other pretty much. But then seeing them come together, and of course their press conference, which Charlotte basically said, we're basically trying dating again, basically is what they said. But that was a great moment there. But my two favorite spots this match, of course, is first off, Charlotte doing her moonsault from the top of the cage. But the best spot has got to be Io. So Io always does. Again, I wish she was so Io Shirai. I don't like the name Io Sky, but Io Shirai has been in all of the women's War Games matches, NXT and main roster. She's been in all of them since they started the concept back in 2017. Yeah, 2017, because that was the first year when the Undisputed Era was in NXT. And I remember the first one they did with the women. I'm like, you gotta do the moonsault. You gotta do the moonsault. Well, Io didn't do a moonsault. Instead, she climbed up to the top, used the chain that, of course, she had brought into the match and tied up Becky and Bianca with, and had Dakota Kai hook up a garbage can. She brought it to the top. I'm like, is she gonna do a moonsault? Basically how Hangman did the moonsault with the steel chair with the barbed wire during the match with Swerve Strickland and Hangman at Full Gear. I thought she was going to do something like that with the trash can. No. Io put the trash can on her head while standing at the very top of that cage and does a dive off of it in that trash can. I'm like, geez, oh man, you're taking freaking risks here. But the moments were amazing. Eventually, though, the babyface team does win. And again, as I said before, Bayley basically took a bullet for everyone on her team. But then eventually, she was the one who ate the pin when Becky Lynch hit her with a manhandle slam through the table. And the babyface team gets the victory. Now, again, I predicted after the match for the rest of Damage Control to turn on Bayley, but it didn't happen yet. Of course, there was a backstage interview where Bayley said, I basically did all I could, but it didn't work out. And hopefully I can find my teammates and whatnot too. So they're starting to really plant the seeds for that face turn. And again, with the I liked how they had Bayley be like the Iron Woman in this match for the women. Starting it, taking the bullets, showing that she legitimately is doing what she said she's trying to do. Make all these women stars. And trying to be the leader. Because she's not... she's basically saying she's not going to be the one to turn on them. Is what the iteration we're getting here. But of course, the other girls, they're talking in Japanese, and you think they're and Bayley, what are you saying? You think that she's saying good things, but in reality, they're really not. Again, it's very Seinfeld-ish, with the episode of Seinfeld where those Korean nail salon ladies were saying mean things about Elaine in Korean, but Elaine thought that, they were just laughing with her. But she got suspicious, and thanks to Frank Costanza helping her out, she was able to figure out that they were making fun of her. So Io, Kairi, and Asuka, they're plotting. Now what happens to Dakota Kai, though, I still have no clue. But at some point soon, I think Damage Control is going to turn on Bayley. Again, what I think should happen is, do it this Friday on SmackDown now. Have Damage Control, turn on Bayley, write her off TV. She comes back at the Royal Rumble and wins. And then goes on to WrestleMania to dethrone Io. That's honest to God what I think they should do. But now, as far as I know, some people are saying they think this is the best War Games match for the women ever. I still kind of want to give it the second best. I still think the 2019 one, where Rhea and Candice basically won 4-on-2, because Dakota Kai had turned on Tegan Nox while making her entrance. So I still think that one to me is better. But this one's definitely second best. But if you think it is the best, I am not going to knock you. I do not blame you at all whatsoever. Anyways, but yes, there's that match that started us off. The second match was the Intercontinental title match between Gunther and The Miz. The match was good. Miz is a babyface. I'm just still so back and forth with this one. Because he's still doing, the Miz we got in the promo this past week on Raw. I'm like, yes, I like this babyface Miz. In this match, although I do like that when he is a face, Miz has a bunch of different moves. And I do think that's unique. But he still is doing some antics, some heelish tactics. Like, of course, the low blows that he did on Gunther in this match. Which, yes, I get. But he's not an MJF. He's not on that level where it's like, I can be a scumbag and you can love me. The whole story behind this is Miz trying to prove he's more than what Gunther's saying he is. A talk show host. And just a kid that, was a nerd and loved all these other guys but got bullied for it. Well, as was all these wrestlers he was fans of growing up. So the story was back and forth, but I thought the match was still good. Miz put up a very, very good fight. He made Gunther look very strong, though, when he did that low blow and then hit him with the skull-crushing finale, but kicked out at, barely 2. So I do like that. And it actually did kind of give me a sec where I thought maybe The Miz will retain, but will win the title, but it didn't. Gunther still won the match. I'm pretty sure the whole idea for this was to have Gunther face one of the best Intercontinental champions of all time. which the one that technically really is because he has the most reigns is Chris Jericho with 9, but Chris Jericho ain't here. He's in AEW. Dolph Ziggler, I think, was tied with The Miz with 8, I think it is. He ain't here anymore. So Miz was basically the next best pick. Like, I'm pretty sure if Jericho was available, they would have had Jericho do this match. But yeah, it was still a good match. Gunther retains. Who he fights next, though, I have no idea. I still think Chad Gable, though, should be the one to dethrone him since he's on Raw. And there's still kind of like a story and a history there. Maybe. We'll see. But there's that match. Then the following match was modified on SmackDown this past week, which is after I did my preview predictions. Which actually, no, I'm sorry. Before I get to that match, I think it was in between the Women's War Games match and this IC title match. We had a backstage set basically just to promote Ruffles. Which, again, I love Ruffles. They're my favorite potato chip outside, of course, the tortilla chips. Those are my 2 favorite chips. And I guess, there was a backstage altercation between Pretty Deadly and Alpha Academy over chips. And what are they called? Crisps or chips. And they knocked them on the floor. But who happened to pick them up but R-Truth? R-Truth is back. I think it's been over a year, I think. Didn't he have a really bad injury, suffered on a match in NXT? But he came back and he said, nah, they ain't chips, they ain't crisps, they're Ruffles. Like being typical R-Truth, who I always say that I didn't become a fan of R-Truth till 2017. Before that, I didn't find him funny. Ever since he started pairing up with Carmella, that's where he got me laughing. That's where I'm like, okay, this guy actually can be funny and not annoying. But yeah, R-Truth made a return, which, again, he definitely was one of 3 returns. He didn't get enough credit. But, yeah, give R-Truth credit. He's just a low-card guy, but he's going to make his acts, like, the best possible he can. You got to give him a bone here and there. I mean, he has no 24/7 title to go after. I think that basically got written off while he was injured, I think. But give him his props for sure. It was nice to see Truth back. But anyways, originally this match was supposed to be Carlito and Santos Escobar. But because of what happened on SmackDown this past week, Carlito got written off kayfabe. Instead, he was replaced by Dragon Lee, who has been killing it so far on the main roster with his series of matches against Cedric Alexander. And, of course, his recent match also with Axiom on SmackDown, which was also a freaking awesome match. So he took on Santos Escobar in place for Carlito. And the match was good. But it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. A lot of people say it's because it was shorter. It was a short match. It was only probably about 8 minutes, I would say. It was still good. But you give these guys like another 10, 15 more minutes, and they could definitely pull out an all-time classic. Santos Escobar, though, does get the win clean. I thought since Dragon Lee was going to be getting the shot, I thought he would win over Santos. But Santos does, in fact, win clean with the Phantom Driver. And he's definitely building some good heat momentum so far as a heel. I'm very interested, of course, seeing where this goes. Like I said, I think the long-term direction is for him to fight Rey at WrestleMania, which, of course, is what they should do. Again, Rey is out now with his knee injury. He's had, 5 or 6 knee surgeries now, which really sucks. But I kind of like that, he's going to take care of it now. Because, like I said, now you can take the time to build towards WrestleMania 40 and have him come back maybe at the Rumble and set up from there. So, but still a great match from Dragon Lee and Santos. It's just, it felt like it left you wanting another match between these two. We will get another match at some day between Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar, and it definitely will be better. But this felt like we're laying out what we can do. We eventually will give you everything we can do, pretty much. That type of match. But we have that. Then we have the Women's World Title match with Rhea Ripley and Zoey Stark again, like Santos and Dracula, the match was good. But again, I knew this was going to be more so of like a showcase match for Zoey Stark. Rhea does win, as I expected. It was a competitive match. Zoey, still has some work to do, but she's, still looking great. I just still wish we would have saved this till WrestleMania. Again, build Zoey Stark to be the winner of the Women's Rumble. I don't see that happening now, of course. I still think we're doing Rhea and Becky and we'll do Bayley and Io title matches. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to debut Jade Cargill at the Rumble. And we'll probably, in a non-title feud, do Jade versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, as I keep saying. But yeah, still a good match. Not going to knock the women. It's just that, again, it just wasn't the best match on the show. And again, Zoey still has some work to do. But again, she will get her run someday. I can promise you that she will. All right. Let's talk about the main event. The main event of the evening. It was Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Senor Money in the Bank, the self-proclaimed leader of Judgment Day, Damian Priest, the undisputed tag team champions, who retained their titles on Friday against the Street Profits. They teamed up, of course, with Dominic Mysterio, the NXT North American champion, the newest member of Judgment Day, JD McDonough, and the recently justified turned heel, Drew McIntyre. They were teaming up against Cody Rhodes. Main event, Jey Uso, which, by the way, speaking of R-Truth, there was a viral video going around. Someone in the crowd was sitting like right behind where the cage was at, which I didn't realize how fast Jey climbed to the top of the cage to do his arm movement, which I love when he does that. My wife, especially also because my wife loves doing that also. But of course they pan to the right. Who is in the crowd doing that movement with him but R-Truth? And I cracked up. I'm like, R-Truth, you slick son of a gun. Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and as basically clarified, but they never said his actual name, Randy Orton was to be returning and to be the fifth member. But throughout the night, and this, especially with how the show ended, it kind of threw things off as far as like wondering if someone was going to show up or not, or maybe something else was going to do. Because the chance for a certain somebody was there on the show throughout the night. And I'm thinking, at this point, I'm like, geez, if he does not show up, fans are not going to be happy. Basically, at this point, a certain somebody I thought was going to show up. I thought had a chance to show up. I was basically pretty positive at this point he wasn't going to show up. But Randy Orton, I knew would be there. When I saw that, but they basically acted like he wasn't there yet, I'm like, they're probably kind of doing what they did at War Games 2019 when Kevin Owens made a surprise appearance in NXT and helped Team Ciampa in War Games. Of course, they didn't announce it was Kevin Owens, but they already basically made it clear that Randy Orton was indeed coming to War Games and making his return after 18 months. But he wasn't there yet. So the match starts and it's going good. It starts off with, I believe it was Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, which Seth didn't wait for the bell to ring. He just went to town. And of course, again, the heels had the advantage. I think it was Finn and then JD, who took some very... Look, I know I kind of knocked that. They kind of like didn't quite tell the story right with JD becoming part of the Judgment Day, because I felt like they went back and forth about, who likes him and who doesn't like him. But he took a lot of bad bumps, crazy bumps in this match. Not bad, crazy bumps. And he sold them like a pro. He got slammed in the face of the cage several times. He got tossed off the top of the cage towards the end of the match. And a few other times. But yeah, he took some crazy bumps in this match. Then you had I think second to come out was Jey Uso. I really thought it was going to be Sami, but Jey came out second, and he grabbed, some toys to throw into the ring. We didn't have a fire extinguisher like we did in the women's War Games match, which Bianca used to spray Asuka with. Basically, well, I guess it was their way of a mist on Asuka, so she likes to mist everybody else. Now, it looked like for the next entrant for Judgment Day, it was going to be Drew McIntyre. But then Damian Priest said, no. We're sticking to the plan. Damian Priest goes out. And then it was Sami, then Drew, which when Drew came out, he went straight for Jey. Because again, he's not part of the Judgment Day, which after this match, I don't think he will ever be part of Judgment Day. But, he still could, who knows? Because, of course, they could be taking out, the leader, the self-proclaimed leader. We'll talk about that in a second, of course, still. But he came out, went right after Jey. Cody came out, and then Dom came out after that. We did have a few spots there with, I remember Sami, first I think Damian had like a baton in his hand he was using. Sami ripped a piece of the pipe off of the top of the cage in there as well. Some very nice, crazy spots as well used. We had tables in there. We had some chairs. And, of course, we also had, kendo sticks was the women. I'm getting things mixed up. I'm sure we had kendo sticks at some point. And I know Sami slammed the door on JD McDonough's face when he first came in, which looked very vicious. And I think he slammed it so hard that it actually snapped over the lock and onto the other side of the door, which I'm like, holy smokes. This means business. The match was definitely insane. But then we get to the last entrant, which was supposed to be Randy Orton. And Randy still has not yet come out. But then, Rhea's Judgment Day's music hits. Or Rhea's, can't remember which one it was. Rhea came running out with a referee with Damian Priest's briefcase to cash in. Then you hear the I hear voices in my head. And Randy wasted no time. He came out there, made a goofy face towards the camera. He was fired up, Randy, let's go. Like when he's a baby face, I love when he comes out and is all let's go, all fired up and whatnot. As he should be. I thought he would grab a few more weapons, but he didn't. But as he's coming out, of course, the first person they showed was Damian Priest. And I'm like, ooh. A feud with Damian Priest and Randy Orton would actually be very interesting. I would like to see them give that one a try. But I think Finn was like, are you kidding me? Which that's another one too. Randy Orton and Finn Balor? Have they ever had a match? A feud though would be interesting between the two of them. The Viper and the Demon? I don't know. But of course I remember when Dom was a babyface, I wanted to see him and Dom. Because I felt like whenever Randy's a heel, he could done some really good work with Dom. But that's the opposite. But also, Dom mentioned in an interview with Chris Van Vliet, which he was there on the show, at the press conference, and he interviewed Gunther. Nice to see someone who I've listened to his podcast lately get an interview. But anyways, but yeah, so Randy came out, and he got right in the ring, and he did offense on Dom right away. And he did his scoop slam, thinking, is he going to do the RKO? That's the big question I have for Randy. Is he going to do the RKO? Also, he shaved his mustache. Last time I saw him, he had a mustache. That's why I kept the mustache in the graphic. But he basically went to town on everybody for the most part. And then, of course, I like that they had the moment with him and Jey. Whenever it's Randy went... Well, first off, sorry, before I got that, he did, I think, one drape and DDT, but then his whole team got up, and everyone set up and did a drape and DDT on one, each then paired up with one person and did it on each member of the Judgment Day, which was cool. Oh yeah, we also had a moment with him and Drew, which basically Drew's like, things have changed around here, Randy. They did have a series of matches in 2020 that were good, but it was a little bit of a dragged on feud, but it was still good matches. A good feud also. But anyways, the moment I knew Randy was going to do the RKO was whenever he did the whole thing where he heard the voices and then did the thing and whatnot. And he was rooting towards one of the members of Judgment Day. But then he started doing it towards Jay. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, is he going to turn on Jay right here? And he got up and you see him like saying something to Jay, which of course, Jay, I'm pretty sure, was knowing that Randy was going to say, hey, you wrote me off. Basically, in this match. But of course, as, they're like chatting it out, someone comes right at them, and Jay super kicks whoever it was, and Randy hits the RKO, and I'm like, cool. Awesome. We got the Viper. We got the RKO, everything cool. Again, hopefully his back stays okay, but I'm like, awesome. We got all that. But anyways, after that, then basically I think they took out everyone else in the ring except for JD McDonough. And I'm like, oh, he's doomed. But not only that, he tried to climb up to the cage, which why would he do that? Because if you escape the cage, your team is disqualified. But I think it was Sami and Seth, I think it was. They were the ones who climbed up, who chased after JD. And they basically set up for JD McDonough getting tossed off the cage into the RKO. And I'm like, oh, that's it. They're pinning him. But nope. Randy instead had a moment with Cody, his former legacy partner, who they're still really good friends to this day. Randy then basically tells Cody, finish it off. And I like this moment because they had Cody pin Damian Priest, who again, earlier in the match, don't forget, told Drew, stick with my plan. His plan didn't work and they lost, thanks to the self-proclaimed leader. So can we now have the Judgment Day turn on Damian Priest? Again, if you want to have Drew take Damian's spot, by all means do it. Again, maybe on Raw tomorrow or something, have Damian attempt to cash in and Judgment Day turn on him. And reveal Drew McIntyre's now with Judgment Day. Of course, we'll talk about Drew though in a second as well when we get to, the big ending. No pun intended, Biggie. But I like also that Randy basically endorsed Cody, said, you finish it off. And also us being reminded that Dusty Rhodes is the creator of this match. And to have Cody be the one to finish the match in his first War Games match, that's a moment. With Randy endorsing Cody, and Cody getting to finish the match that his father created, again, that's a moment. I love that moment. Again, it was moments on this show that made this show unforgettable, in my opinion. So afterwards, of course, everybody, is getting up, and, the match has ended, and we're going off the air, right? So Triple H does the graphic, and that's how the show ends. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I forgot that song. So, after the match, they're showing everybody celebrating. Cody and Randy embrace. There seemed to be a moment where Randy and Jay fist bumped, I think, but we'll see, of course, if that's the case when it comes to Raw this week. The Viper always finds a way to strike back when you're not thinking. But everybody's raised up, everybody's standing up in the ring, all putting their arms up, like curtain call, like that's the show, thank you guys for coming. The ending graphic comes up, and again, at this point, I was convinced a certain somebody was not showing up. Despite the fact, let me pull up Twitter here for a second. Despite the fact, on my Twitter polls, which I just saw also, apparently Tony Khan's getting roasted on Twitter. Gotta look into that to see here. On Twitter, I had a poll. saying if a certain somebody was going to be showing up on this show. And it got 43 votes on it. 72% said yes. And only 28% said no. And people were chanting all night. And literally the show was a millisecond away from going off the air. And then what did we hear? We heard... Look in my eyes! Like I said, I wish I would have done live reactions for that main event. I marked out. I was like, holy shit, he showed up! Holy shit, he showed up! Like I think that was how I reacted. I marked out. I know I said I'm not going to lose sleep on whether he shows up or not. But as I said before, I wasn't going to believe it until I saw it. And seeing it, it was just like, I didn't think I would react the way I did. But CM Punk's music hit literally a millisecond after the show was supposed to end, and the crowd lost it. The pop? Whew! It made me think back to a little over a year ago at Extreme Rules when Bray Wyatt returned. Rest in peace, Wyndham. And the music hit, and then you're showing the entrance ramp, and then they say, look at my eyes. And as soon as they said that, here he comes himself. Mr. Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, almost 10 years later, returns back to a place you never thought we'd see him at before. Heck, you never thought you would see him in professional wrestling before. Again, I, for the life of me, never thought he was going to be coming back to WWE. Never did. He came out. Of course, the crowd's going crazy. He got a haircut too. He looked like how he did in his, either towards the end of his run, or I would say when he was the new leader of the new Nexus. I think he had the shorter hair with the shade sides or whatnot. He had all that. Of course, he didn't get. I don't think he got as emotional, but he still got down on the ground, pounded the ground a few times, looked at his watch. He was literally wearing a watch now. I never saw him wear a watch before. And he taps on his legitimate watch and goes, "It's clobbering time!" And he just high fives and hugs some fans. And I think he said something like, "Who's He said something like, whose city is this?" or something like that. And then he gets back on the ramp. Of course, they cut it, but you see stuff afterwards where, well, first off, before I talk about the post stuff, again, this moment was still incredible. Again, you never thought, who in their right mind would think that once he was in AEW, did you think that CM Punk, even before AEW, who ever thought this man, after all the stuff he said with Colt Cabana on his first interview since he left WWE, who really thought CM Punk was ever going to come back to WWE? I never thought this would happen. Again, I don't know what I marked out for more. When he came back to wrestling 2 years ago in AEW, or when he came back here. To me, I gotta be honest, I felt this was a little bit more impossible. I felt this was much more impossible. Oh my goodness. I marked out. The internet marked out. And I know, yes, people are like, oh, what's he going to do? Stir up shit to get here? Listen, as I keep saying, do I think CM Punk getting fired was the right move to do with AEW? Yes. Not saying because Phil Brooks is a cancer. Let's get that out there. Phil Brooks is not a cancer. Can he be an asshole? I can understand why people think he's an asshole. I can understand why people think he's difficult to work with. My thing I keep saying, though, is I understand why he is the way he is. as he said in this interview back in 2014, his mindset's always, if you want to, you shouldn't be there if you don't want to be the best. And if you don't think I'm the best, then let me go. That's how he does business. Again, the problem I have is, yes, I know he got a lot of people pointing fingers at him in AEW. But again, the part that I put him at fault for is that he could have handled it better than he did. And to me, the reason why I think it was the right move to let him go is because it wasn't not going to work out. Tony Khan was going to do nothing about it. He was not going to sit them all down and say, hey, we can't keep doing this anymore. You guys man up and deal with it and learn to work together. Instead of going into business for yourselves on live TV and just doing the shit you're doing. Instead, he got legal involved, and then he goes out of his way to make a show just for CM Punk to be able to still be in the company. When in reality, it's to put it on a Saturday night, when who's going to watch it on a Saturday night constantly? Nobody. So again, the biggest fault CM Punk had here is that he didn't handle people, blame him for stuff he didn't do right. He went off the handle, and yes, again, I hold him at fault for that. But in reality it just was not going to work out. And I know there's already people starting stuff up because Seth Rollins was caught on video angry outside of the cage and being held back. And he was giving CM Punk the double bird. And again, I don't know if that was a work or if that was a legitimate shoot on Punk. Or if that was legitimate. Because Punk, of course, did make some comments about Rollins back in 2019 on Backstage, which I'm not trying to sound so CM Punk biased. I don't blame Punk for making the comments he made on Backstage about how Seth Rollins needs to get off Twitter and stop tweeting, because I agree, at the time, Seth Rollins was putting his own foot in his mouth as the top face of the company, crapping on the fans for not thinking what the WWE's doing was the best stuff ever. Seth Rollins dug that own hole himself. CM Punk was telling the truth at the time. Again, CM Punk is not looking to pick fights with people. He's just speaking the damn truth. Which is why, again, I don't hold him responsible, and I do not like that term of CM Punk is a cancer. He is not a cancer. Can he be a little difficult to work with? Yes. But again, I get why he does business the way he does it. So, but with that out of the way. But yeah, there was that with Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre apparently was rumored to have stormed out of the ring and out of his locker room right after the show. Well, it was shown on video. Because apparently, and here's the thing too. Not many, I think only Triple H, Nick Khan, and maybe one or two other people knew that Punk was coming out. I think I heard they told people in the main event that Punk's going to be coming out, but nobody else knew. They kept this a deep secret. I think more secretive than whenever it was rumored for Punk to be showing up at an AEW. But, so I think Drew's situation was one or two things. It could have been a work because, again, things didn't go according to plan, how Damian Priest wanted it to go. And if that's the case, I get that. But if Drew McIntyre is pissed about CM Punk being there, I completely understand. Because this may be the factor that leads to Drew McIntyre leaving. Because I'm pretty sure the WrestleMania match on Raw is going to be CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I know a lot of people want Punk to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, that should still be Cody. I get Punk is probably the bigger star, but the story still long-term is for Cody. Don't take that away from Cody. Please don't. You could give Punk the main event in night one against Rollins. There is legitimate beef right there. I mean, yes, he has to beef with Roman Reigns too. Roman Reigns, though, has been one of the few who's come out and said that, yes, if Punk would come to WWE, yes, I don't like the guy, but I know he does great business, so I'd be willing to work with him because of that. But, I mean, at some point, you should do Punk and Roman. But I still think they should do Punk and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But anyways, I'm pretty sure if CM Punk wouldn't come back, Drew McIntyre would be the one to dethrone Seth Rollins. I think we found the one. And here's the thing, too. I would do this. Because first off, even if Punk does win the title, I don't think he needs to be a long-term champion. There's no reason for CM Punk to be a long-term champion, I don't think. What I would do is have Punk, of course, dethrone Seth. And I think Drew McIntyre, if he sticks around, should be the one to cash in. He should be the one to win Mr. Money in the Bank and cash in on Punk. I mean, long-term story. Punk took his spot. I could see that being a long-term story if Drew McIntyre would stay. But then again, if plans keep getting pushed out, I understand why Drew would leave and go to AEW. And I think, of course, he would be a great fit for AEW right now. I think he would. But there's that. Apparently, Rhea Ripley gave the finger when Punk came out. Well, someone didn't care, but that could have been her flicking off the crowd or whatnot. But the secrecy and everything, it's like, I heard someone say something about that. Apparently, I think it was last week, Punk had like an hour-long conversation with Triple H. A guy who openly admitted that him and Punk hated each other. But as Triple H said in his press conference that if you don't change in 10 years, that's messed up. They basically, buried the hatchet. And he brought him in to do business. And Vince McMahon had nothing to do with this. Had this still been the Vince McMahon era, I don't think we would have seen CM Punk. And plus two, if there's a problem, Triple H is not gonna be a pushover and do what Tony Khan did. We're not gonna get like Sunday night war, whatever you want to call it, just so CM Punk can be featured on a show. No. Either work with the guy or get out. That's the whole story. And again, if Punk burns the bridge again, then that's on him. But this was, again, I don't think the possibilities are as big for Punk in WWE as far as fresh matches as it would be in AEW. But there's still stuff there. Like CM Punk and Seth Rollins, CM Punk and Roman Reigns, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, CM Punk and Gunther, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Drew would say. CM Punk and LA Knight. Give me that one in a promo war, please. Please give me CM Punk and LA Knight. Heck, even if you would, I'll go as far as say this. I would not be upset if they did a rematch with CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. Hell in a Cell, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar. Watching that SummerSlam match like a second or third time made me wish they would have done a match at Hell in a Cell in 2013. Because that was worthy of another match. It really was. CM Punk and who else was I thinking? Him and Logan Paul. I'll be fine with him and Logan Paul having a match. CM Punk and Solo Sikoa could be there. Someone posted this on Twitter. I think it could be somewhat possible. What if they somewhere down the line did CM Punk and Stone Cold Steve Austin? If you're not going to do a match, at least let them have a promo war. Like a segment. At least give them a segment. Please. Please, please, please. CM Punk, Stone Cold Steve Austin, some way, somehow get them in the ring. CM Punk and Kevin Owens also. That's another great match right there. There's still a lot there. Some of it maybe not as fresh. Yes, he's a little more limited. Yes, he's not going to have all the creative control he got like in AEW. But honestly, somewhere a little more structured. somewhere where like Tony Khan, who just doesn't have a freaking backbone, this is somewhere where Punk needs to be. And I am very excited and just very hopeful things work out better for Punk, since they didn't work out in AEW. Now, also though, I forgot to mention this also, I still think CM Punk could be Shinsuke Nakamura's first opponent. I mean, Nakamura could be CM Punk's first opponent. I still think it happened. That's like that big name that Nakamura says he's been waiting for. So, I think on Raw tomorrow, we'll have CM Punk call out Shinsuke Nakamura for a match. And that'll be his first feud. So, Best of the World is back. And it was an incredible moment. I still cannot stop watching it. It was still unreal. Again, I just pray that this time around, it goes better. And we do not see like what happened in AEW again. But I'm pretty sure, again, Triple H, Ari Emanuel, all these guys, much more experienced businessman, will be able to get everybody to sit down and say, hey, either work it out or get out. So, I'm very excited for CM Punk to be back in the WWE. And that, guys, that's my review for Survivor Series 2023. I gave the show an A-. Again, had they would have capitalized a little bit more on a few things, this probably would have gotten like a classic, like an A+ grade. But I gave it an A-. An unbelievable show, full of moments, again, like Becky and Charlotte, reuniting as friends again. R-Truth, again, give R-Truth credit for his return. Randy Orton's return, which we never thought we would have happened, which again, I still feel bad he was overshadowed. Oh! Forgot to mention this one too. So, in the midst of the videos of Seth Rollins flipping out and giving CM Punk the bird, in the background, as he's coming out, you see Randy Orton just casually pick up a steel chair and sit down and watch it. I think he even waved the Punk, and Punk waved back to him and did Orton's pose. I cracked up. Again, typical Randy Orton. Just literally has nothing to lose, doesn't give a crap, and he'll do the goofiest things like that, the toe touch and the... I thought it was hilarious, but yeah, so many great moments on the show. Quite frankly, possibly the best Survivor Series I've ever seen. Again, A- for me. I give it a grade. Let me check the live chat before I go anywhere and see if anybody else is here. Like I said, it's going to take time with how busy I am, so don't expect rapid changes yet. But again, I am hoping to... Why is my cursor not allowing me to scroll up and down like it should? Come on. I want to read your thoughts in the live chat. Come on. It's not letting me. Stop it! This is getting on my nerves. Okay. I'm going to go to the phone and check the live chat from my phone because it's not letting me scroll up and down like it should be. Live chat. Okay, here we go. So many messages. It's only let me go so far. Dang it. Oh, bump that light there. I don't want to... God, why did it do that? Let me try typing something here. Test. Let's type myself. Okay, there we go. I had to type test in to get my live chat to work again. Okay. Let me see if there's anything in the live chat. There's a lot of things. I addressed a lot of this. Oh, yeah. Oh, 2019 was when the women had the TLC tag title match. Thanks for correcting me on that, Tyler. I think the women's division is booked better now than it's ever been. It is definitely on the rise, yes. All that. Will Triple H bring back the Iconics? They could. I know Cassie Lilo Peyton Royce just recently came back after being pregnant, so it is possible. You never know. Punk winning the men's rumble and going after Seth, which is very possible. Do you think we'll see Becky Lynch and Io one-on-one? Maybe someday. Not yet anytime soon, but someday. Let's see here. All this and that. Yeah, Dragon Lee's and Santos Escobar's match wasn't as good as it should have been, but like I said, it was one of those matches where it's like, you gotta taste what they do now, but they'll do more eventually. That's not the last time we'll see them wrestle. I don't think Jericho's coming back to WWE anytime soon. I think he's... Because I even listened to a Chris Van Vliet interview the other day where he said if it weren't for AEW or of course, that match here with Kenny Omega at Tokyo Dome, he probably would have retired back in like 2017, 2018. But I don't know if he'll come back. He seems to be very committed to AEW. And that's like the style he wants to work right now. So I'm not so sure. I'd like him to get one more match if he can to retire since he spent most of his career there. Cool. But it may be a while until we see him back in WWE. I don't think Ludwig Kaiser will be the one to take the title off of Gunther. I don't like the booking they're doing that with Imperium. Like, Gunther's booking fine, but with what they're doing with like Kaiser and Vinci, I'm not really digging that right now. I saw Rollins. I don't think they're doing Roman and Randy at WrestleMania. But I think I saw that Randy's going to be on Raw. I still think there's a chance he can still feud with Cody before Mania. Then the Demon Finn Balor versus the Viper could happen. Yes. I think I heard Ray thinks he has about 1.5 to 2 years left. And I did see that when Orton was leaving the ring, he was flashing up 10, saying that he feels like he has 10 more years left in him, which if that's the case, awesome. Let me see here. There's a lot here. I'm kind of hoping for an AJ Lee return. You never know. You really never know. But I feel like we would have gotten... Well, is she still doing stuff with Women of Wrestling, or whatever that promotion is called? Is she still working there? We could. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. Apparently, Authors of Pain are coming back, and Gallows is getting called up. Huh. We'll see how those work out. I don't know if we'll have Orton get his vengeance on Jay. They could, but we'll see. Damian cashing in at Mania. I want to split the tag titles, but it's time to split the belts now. Maybe. Again, Randy's never worked under Triple H, so I'm definitely very interested to see how Triple H books him. There's a lot going on. There's a lot here. Michael Cole apparently said it's been the longest Dirty Dom's been in bars. Oh, God. That's very true. He was locked inside of War Games probably longer. He was behind bars like 30 minutes. Whatever the heck it was. And yes, first, I really hope Cody ends the story of WrestleMania. Yeah, again, Cody dethroning Roman is his story. They can't change that. Which is why, again, the more beef is with Seth and Punk. So that's got to be the match. Adam Copeland said he refuses to talk bad about WWE. I respect him and always will. Exactly, yes. Again, Adam Copeland has nothing to shit on WWE for. Again, the thing was WWE just said, well, if you stick around, we'll use you occasionally. He wanted to do more. Again, there really wasn't anything. The only thing he didn't get to do in his return is win a title. I wish they would have given him the world title. Because him winning the AEW world title won't feel special, but he has a lot more fresh options in AEW. So, again, I'm continuing to say, he made the right decision for his career if he still wanted to keep going. And again, he has no reason to talk shit on WWE. Punk will be calling out Nakamura, I think so. All this here. I'm kind of thinking it could happen soon with Randy turning on Cody. Again, I think if Drew McIntyre is not leaving, I think Randy will be Cody's feud before Mania. But if Drew is leaving, I think they'll have Drew be the one to feud with Cody before Mania, is what I'm predicting. Judgment Day was shock, yes. Randy told Jay, I remember, and pointed to his head, LOL. Oh, that's what he did. This and that. I hope we get a Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest feud. And by the way, I think my opinion, Damian Priest is the best member of Judgment Day. I think him and Finn are the best too. Nice. Cody being the one to get the pin was the right move in a War Games match. I agree with that, especially with it being his first one and his father created it. Safe. If CM Punk has a new shirt out on sale, I'm buying it once it's out. You know what? WrestleMania 40 Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles versus CM Punk for the title. That would still be a great triple threat match. Again, I don't think it's happening at Mania, but if they want to do that in a triple threat at some point, take my money. All that. Sorry, I just have there's just a lot of the live chat. Yeah, I hope they don't mess this up either. Orton and Jay at Rumble could happen, yes. Yeah, I already mentioned the thing about Seth Rollins. Like I said, it could be a work. It could not be a work, but either way, whether it's a work or not, that should still be the feud to do. And again, you go back to 2019 when Punk made those comments about Seth Rollins on Twitter. And again, Punk wasn't wrong to say what he did. Rollins was literally running his mouth on Twitter when he should not have been. But Rollins, of course, has matured up, of course, since then. Charlie Kelly also said he wouldn't mind seeing Paul Heyman and Punk back together. Oh, I actually like that. If, again, when the time comes when they split Heyman from Roman, which I still think should be before Mania, because I keep saying Paul Heyman's the Nagini for Roman Reigns. He's the main reason why Cody Rhodes didn't win the title at WrestleMania 39. And you want to give Heyman something else to do? Put him back with CM Punk. That would be interesting if they reunited that again. But wow, almost talked for like an hour and 20 minutes. But I think I'm going to cut it here, guys. I appreciate everybody's thoughts in the live chat. Very, very active live chat. And yeah, like I said, the holidays are going to be busy. I'm still really, really pushing, trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I don't know if I'll make it or not, but this coming week, I will be announcing something that will be taking place during the month of December. I am not where I want to be with it, but hopefully by Thursday, I will be in a certain spot with it. But that will be revealed on Thursday. Again, it was a suggestion my wife made, so I'm giving it a shot and seeing how it goes. But till then, guys, what are your guys' thoughts on Survivor Series 2023? Actually, before I go, I did do polls on that as well for a grade for old time's sake. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Aha. Well, actually, 2 polls. 16 votes on the one thing. What grade would you give Survivor Series? 88% said A, 6% said B, nobody said C, and 6% said D. And how do you feel about CM Punk returning? 17 votes. 88% said it's clobber time, and 12% said hell no. So, we got that squared away. So guys, again, leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. And be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93 and on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993 again. Revamping the channel again because I have, again, After Effects and Photoshop and Adobe Bridge also as well to help me with some presets. So again, hoping thumbnails would be the first thing that I start, making some changes to how I structure. And again, hopefully in the next several months, we'll be seeing some other things change with After Effects and Photoshop being used. So I am excited for hopefully what 2024 has to bring as a wrestling fan and for the channel as well. Again, we are so close to 2,000 subscribers. I'm at 1,955. So guys, check it out now. Catch you guys all later. Hope y'all enjoyed your Thanksgiving break and Thanksgiving weekend. It's time to return back to work tomorrow. And we're on the road now. That's 2,000 subscribers. But we're on the road now to Christmas. So hope everybody has a very safe evening and very fun time this holiday season. I'll catch you guys for more content to come soon. Till then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. And don't forget, CM Punk may be the best in the world. And also Becky Lynch may be the man. But in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion. That is a fact of life. Yeah!